Bradford, when will you fight Tim Tszyu in Australia for that proposed 10 million? Listen, nobody ever sent me no 10 million on contract or none of that. First off, Tim Tszyu not on that level to even fight for a world title. He ain't even on the level to fight some of the guys that I'd have knocked the fuck out of, and he ain't even gonna get no chance to fight me probably throughout my career. I'm just being honest with you. 10 million sounds great. Yes, I would love to take that, but Tim, sorry, big homie, you ain't getting that chance to fight Charlo because Charlo got some other plans. I'm the champ. I'm the unified champ. I'm finna be the undisputed champ. I'm gonna bust my ass in training camp and get to what I need to get to so I could get all of the belts. And then they're gonna say, champ, you the king. They already giving me the respect. I heard J-Rock and I heard other fighters say, oh, we don't even like that bastard. But, he got all the belts, and so we got to give him the respect that is due. And he the champ, he, Turkey, that's J-Rock from Philly, you know what I'm saying?
So, I think that pretty much sums it up, especially when he said, it may not happen, in our careers. Sheesh. Your thoughts, Big J? By the way, let's just start here. Tim Tszyu, 18-0 with 14 KOs, ranked number 1 by the WBO, not WBO mandatory at 154 pounds, is going to be taking on Michael Zerafa, the pretty boy Zerafa, on supposed to be on July the 7th of 2021, this year. I don't know why I said that. Mick Zerafa, 28-4 with 17 KOs. It's supposed to be taking place in the Newcastle Entertainment Center in Newcastle, Australia, but also it's supposed to be the Zoo Center. So right now, regarding Charlo, before we talk about, some potential bad news about the fight, do you agree with him? What's your thoughts on Charlo's response to Australian fans wanting him to fight Tim Tszyu? And where did this $10 million come from? What's that?
Well, as you remember that I spoke to you about, it was, I think it was Easter weekend that they put up, they said that No Limit Boxing, George and Matty Rose said that they could possibly put up $10 million to get Charlo to come to Australia. You remember that? That was that crazy weekend where, the Zerafa camp offered Tim Tszyu the $1 million.
I remember,
Jeff Horn was going to... Yeah, remember that? Anyway, it was around that. So, on the video, I'm so glad that Charlo has come out and put Tim Tszyu and his team in their place, right, and told pretty much, more so put the fans in their place, because Tim Tszyu, they know they're not going to get anywhere near Charlo. It's laughable, right, and basically put the fans of Australia, who most of them haven't got a fucking clue what they're on about. They don't know what they're talking about. Talking about the fans and not the experts, because the experts know that he hasn't got a hope in hell of getting Charlo.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the fans realise that just because and Tim Tszyu is not even a mandatory challenger for any belt. So all this bullshit going on that Tim Tszyu is going to be the best thing since sliced bread, and all this crap that they're going on with it, he's on the same level as Fennec and Rose and Jeff Detman Harding. Remember that bullshit video main event made a while back after he beat Jeff Horn? It's like, fuck off. He has done nothing at the moment. He has not fought one top 10 contender in any sanctioning body. He's going to get nowhere near Buddy Charlo, and if he did, Charlo would beat the fuck out of him inside of 3 rounds.
Right now...
I'm so glad that video came out, because it's like, well, bullshit. Everyone calm down. He's not going to get a shot, and if he does, he'll get killed anyway. So
I think that right now, for one, looking at the landscape, and let me pull it up right here. So he fought Bowen Morgan in an eliminator, but it wasn't a final eliminator. Liam Smith, ranked number 2 by the WBO, was defeated by Magomed Kurbanov, and these rankings are going to be updated soon. And Tim Tszyu is going to be taking on Mick Zerafa. So, in my personal opinion, I think that Tim Tszyu is going to have some problems with Mick Zerafa. Now, can you let us know what's going on with that? Mick Zerafa's got sick recently, and there's some travel restrictions regarding the fight before we move on to the rankings and when Tim Tszyu can possibly get his title shot.
Yeah, well, the last couple of weeks have been pretty bad. First thing that happened, Mick Zerafa got sick with food poisoning about a week or so ago. Was in hospital, I think, overnight.
It's July the 1st, right? It's June the 1st right now, ladies and gentlemen, and the fight is on July the 7th.
Yeah, so Mick's out of hospital. He's back in training, but he was hospitalised there with possible food poisoning there for about 24 hours, maybe a bit longer.
Pretty much a week lost in camp, maybe 2.
pretty much. But he's back in full training now. And the other bad thing that's happened is that there's been another outbreak in Victoria, and Victoria is in another lockdown, which means all the other states have shut the borders off to Victorian residents, which I believe Mick Zerafa is currently training in somewhere in Melbourne. So there's been another COVID outbreak, and once Victoria goes into another lockdown, all the other states shit themselves and shut all the borders off to Victorians. So
what does that mean? Fans won't be able to get to the fight, and maybe fighters, trainers, and team members, managers, promoters also may not be able to travel to the event.
Well, at the moment, the lockdown's only for 7 days. It's supposed to end on this Friday, midnight Friday. What's the date on Friday? I don't bloody know.
The 4th
or
is
something.
probably the 5th for you.
Yeah. No, it'll be the 4th for us. It'll be the 3rd for you, whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Friday the 4th. It's supposed to end on this coming Friday. Hopefully, if it does. If it gets extended, who knows? But at the moment, it's supposed to end on the 4th of June on Friday, so we can all go back to work and back to school and so forth. But the problem is that we don't know how long the other states are going to keep their borders shut. The last time this happened, the borders were shut for about 28 days. And the last lockdown was only 3 or 4 months ago. So Victoria had another snap lockdown, and normally the other states go, well, no cases for 28 days before we'll let you back in our states. So I don't know.
So basically, the fight can
changed.
So basically, the fight can be postponed, because what we talked about earlier is that the fight isn't even on the main event website yet, and I'm guessing everyone's playing it safe, before they have fully officially announced, like, okay, this is happening.
Well, that's great. Well, at the moment, it's still going ahead. There's been no change, but that, due to the current outbreak that we've got in Victoria and the other lockdown that we've had, things may change. At the moment, as I'm sitting here right now, nothing is changing. Nothing's been said, but I'm bracing myself for a change to occur. But at the moment, nothing. So hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully everything goes back to normal on Friday and everything can just continue on. So.
Okay, so let's get back to the rankings now. As we said, Tim Tszyu is ranked number 1 by the WBO. If he beats, don't be surprised if Tim Tszyu versus Mick Zerafa somehow ends up to be some type of eliminator, but I highly doubt it. I believe that the winner of Tim Tszyu, Mick Zerafa, especially if it's Tim Tszyu, is going to have to fight Magomed Kurbanov to be the mandatory for WBO champion Castaño. But if you don't know, Jermell Charlo and Brian Castaño are also fighting. Hold on, when is that fight? I believe it's, let me pull it up really quickly. I'm pretty sure that's in July as well. Let me get you the exact date. Yeah, July 17th. And that's going to be undisputed for all of the major belts: WBC, WBA Super, IBF, WBO, and Ring Magazine at 154 pounds. WBC mandatory is Erickson Lubin, who's going to be taking on Jason Rosario. That is on a pay-per-view card. I forgot which one. That's coming up soon. The WBA, I'm not going to really mention that because there's too much bullshit going on with there. But Erislandy Lara is the WBA. No, excuse me. Erislandy Lara is still currently the WBA world champion, but expect for that belt to be vacated because Lara is now the WBA world champion at 160. So right now, it looks like this. I'm not confident that Jermell Charlo defeats Brian Castaño, but that's a whole different video. But what I am going to say is Tim Tszyu, it looks like he's not going to get Jermell Charlo, if Charlo beats Castaño. If Castaño wins, then I can see that happening depending on if there's a Charlo rematch. But just like to cut the shit, it's not looking like Tim Tszyu is going to be a mandatory or get a whiff of a title shot until at least March, April, May, maybe this time, 2022. He's got another year to go.
Well, I mean, you've been saying that. You first said that to me back when we were talking about the Horn Tszyu fight first got mentioned. And you said, no, he's 18 months off. I said, no, he'll get a lot quicker than that. And you were right on the money. I mean, we're mid-2021 now, and he's no closer to a title shot than what he was a year ago.
That's crazy, and that's crazy right there. We can factor in COVID, but still,
Well, it's his own fault because fighting blown-up welterweights and, fellas that aren't ranked top 155 and at 154 is not going to get him a title shot. So, he's got no one to blame bar his team and himself, because he's not fighting the guys he should be fighting. I've been saying that for the last 12 months.
And I don't understand like why he didn't go the IBF route and why his team is going the WBO. Maybe because the WBO is allowing them to slow roll, and they want to have this time.
Who knows? I mean, his last fight was totally credible against Dennis Hogan. We can't dispute that.
Yeah.
But Mick Zerafa. Mick's not ranked at 154. Why is he fighting Mick? I know, obviously it's a huge domestic money fight, but bar that, it's really nothing. That's, no wonder Charlo's not even looking at Tim Tszyu. He's just probably going, okay, yeah, all right. I don't, why would anyone legitimately look at Tim Tszyu?
Yeah,
What's he doing?
like you said, he said, if you got the money, send the contract, pretty much. Like, all right, but if you look at it, if you listen to it, Charlo didn't really come off as disrespectful. He seemed like he was keeping it, like 100. Like, well, he didn't, like call Tim Tszyu names. He said, I'm sorry, big homie, but we may not, it may not ever happen.
Well, I don't think it will. And Charlo did that in the most firm and fair way he could. There's no disputing that Tim Tszyu has not really, done anything at 154 yet. As I keep on saying, he hasn't fought anyone in the top 10 of any sanctioning body currently ranked at 154. Yeah. So how can anyone, that is not delusional, think he's in line for a title shot?
Yeah.
So, you got to call facts facts. He is a fantastic talent, and he could go all the way. But at the moment, he's just not doing what he should be doing to get that title shot.
Yeah.
So, and I can't figure out what they're all waiting for. we all know how, as I said in the last video we just did, we all know how terrible Australians do overseas. More often than not, 98 fights out of 100, they get belted. But you at least got to have a crack.
I think that they don't want a co-promoter. That's what I think it is. In order to get him big time, to get him the big fights, they're going to need an American broadcaster, an American co-promoter. I believe it's all money. I really believe it is. You can't blame them, for trying to do it on their own, but they need at least a top rank or a matchroom, because, fighters don't give a fuck about him if he's not fighting, bigger names, or if he can't start getting some ground and a name over here in the States. My God, look what I have to go through, and I actually try to watch his fights. So, it's not productive what they're doing. Yes, it's working on a domestic level, but look, people don't, look at Charlo. They're like, you don't bring nothing to the table.
Yeah, well, that I couldn't have said it better myself. Domestically, he's doing everything fantastically. He's bringing attention to the sport. He's getting big fights. He's getting big money. And everyone thinks, that he's doing fantastically, which he is. Let's not say that he's not, because he's doing a fantastic job of what he's doing. But on an international scale, he's not doing anything that's going to raise any eyebrow.
Like nothing. And that's why, and you've said it, because it's looking like if he comes over here, he's going to have, by the time he gets over here, he's going to have to fight a credible name, and he might get smacked up.
Well, it happens to Aussies all the time. So many Australian fighters, prop up their records by fighting all these domestic guys, don't really fight anyone internationally, go overseas and get fucking tilled.
Yeah.
And it's happened. I could name 10 guys right now that's happened to. Glenn Kelly, like we mentioned in the last video, took on Roy Jones Jr. back in 2002. Only fought domestic guys. Went overseas, got belted.
Yeah.
So many fighters. Trent Broadhurst, Kane Watts, someone else. I've got a couple of other guys I've got at the back of my head. But there's so many fighters that it's happened to. They go overseas with only fighting domestic talent. Go overseas, and Daniel Lewis was another one. He took on Sebastian Fendora. And he hasn't fought since. So, that's what George Kambosos is doing so well. Look what he did. George, the thing is, it's a catch-22 in Australia. You either stay at home, get big, make a lot of money, and on an international scale, no one cares who you are, or you go overseas and fight legitimate fights and do all that and get the shot, and no one cares.
Yeah.
So you see where the problem is?
I guarantee you right now, George Kambosos is maybe a little more known here in the States than Tim Tszyu, outside of Tim Tszyu's name,
Yeah, but
You're
I
gonna
guarantee more
have
people
guys
know
like
Tim
Snoop
Tszyu.
Dogg, those rappers, all those Triller. Listen, Tiafima. I mean, Tim Tszyu don't got that. You know, George Kambosos is well known in the UK. You know,
And,
he's
and the sad thing is that no one knows who he is over here.
crazy.
That's the really sad thing.
Yeah.
He's more well known overseas than what he is over here. But then again, he spent a lot of time overseas.
As you
He
said,
spent
catch
a
22.
lot of time.
You know.
Yeah, that's Australian boxing in a nutshell. It's catch 22, it really is, and I feel, it's. And in reality, you don't know. Either move is a risky one. You don't really know which way to go.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, I've got a bad word to say against Tim Tszyu, Zerafa, George, any of those blokes, but yeah, the poor bastards are stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
So,
In closing thoughts, for a guy like Joseph Parker, former WBO heavyweight champion, he based himself in the UK. You know, he moved from New Zealand and based himself in the UK. Yeah, he spent COVID there, but for the most part, he knew, like, wow, I have a really big fan base. I can grow from this and still be able to fight in New Zealand. And look, he's headlining pay-per-views in the UK. Tyson Fury, he's not, Oceanic. He's not Australia, New Zealand. But once he signed with Top Rank and he, got the 2 fights down through with Wilder, what did he do? He moved here in Vegas. Now Tyson Fury is a known name here in the States. Sometimes, as Big J said, it's a catch-22. And Tim Tszyu, after Zerafa, he needs to start really, really making some decisions. Because right now, it's time to come over. If he loses or not, he's got to try it. Even if he just goes to the UK. I'm not saying he has to move over there, but he needs to start having fights outside of Australia.
exactly. Ebony Bridges is another prime example. Look what she did.
Prime example.
Another prime example. She was bubbling here, but now she's got a name over in the UK, and the UK guys love her. Well, fans.
A name over in the UK, and she's starting to come over here to the States more. So you clearly see what she's doing.
Yeah, very, very smart self-promotion, old Ebony Bridges.
But since we're running late, closing thoughts? Pretty much already went through everything.
Closing thoughts on the fight. I have to give I've been saying the whole time, I have to give the advantage to Tim Tszyu. Mick's been sick. He's had a long layoff. You can't really count that 2-minute thing that he had with Mundine. And Tim Tszyu has just been belting everyone left, right, and centre that's been put in front of him. He's had, his 4th fight in 12 months. Is that right?
Yeah.
Bourne, Morgan, Hogan. Yeah, 4th fight in 12 months. Where Mick's had 1 fight in 15 months. So, yeah, as much as I want Mick to win, and he knows that, but I have to give the advantage to Tim Tszyu. Your thoughts?
I'm just not, I like Tim Tszyu, but I'm until he beats Mick Zerafa, then I can start really, really, I want to see him go a hard 10, 12 rounds. That's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, I want to see what happens when he gets clipped, because to Tim's credit, no one's hit him.
Wade Ryan.
No one's
but yes, this contender Tim Tszyu hasn't been hit.
Yeah, I want to see how he takes it when he gets a shot, because Mick will hit him. Mick will clip him.
Yeah.
So,
and he'll be
sure.
in his face.
I mean,
I want to see Tim under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been wanting to see that since the Horn fight. So, yeah. So, but yeah. I mean, I'm advantage to Tim Tszyu. Absolutely.
All right. Well, this is TstreeT Controversy and Big J with FightView360.com. Take your time out. Please like the video. Our social media is under revamp right now. So give me about another week or so. You'll have an update on that. And once another major update comes out, on this fight, whether it's, if it's going to be happening or postponed or whatever, we'll be doing another video. Please take your time out, subscribe, like the video. This is TstreeT Controversy and Big J with FightView360.com.